Hey guys, it's Kano. I know there's normally a regular video going up in this slot, so I hope you guys don't mind the fact that it's just a stream VOD. It is a full league with version 6 of Coffers Control with Brian as Infinite Ocean, I think is the username, helping me out basically the entire time, and there's some pretty cool highlights in this one. It is a longer video because it's not edited with my editing software, because we were having a lot of fun. And I feel like cutting out all the dead air the time that I'm not speaking kind of ruins the flow of that. So for those of you who only watch me on YouTube and have never come to watch me on Twitch, I think this is a fantastic experience for you guys to know what I'm like, to see me live. If you need the editing, there will be more videos. But I am currently in the process of, I think when you guys see this video, I will be actively driving, and I won't have enough time to record enough videos to cover that time unless I do this, I think. So yeah, without any further ado, here's Coffers Control as it was live last Wednesday. Testing. Cool. It would appear that I have actually gone live, which is good. Okay. So I think today, for those of you watching the VOD, I'm going to be working a little bit on this new version of Mono Black Control. Hey, Kefka, Halsey, welcome. Glad to have you. I'm thinking about playing some Mono Black Control and then maybe playing some Modern Horizons, because I have enough stuff to do another draft. At least I think. Yeah, I have enough tickets to do another Modern Horizons draft, so probably going to do that. I was working on Mono Black today, and this is about where it ended. And I think it needs a little bit more work. Card I was wanting to jam. Oh, Sad Sack, yeah. It's in the sideboard for this one. One of the dogs is whining, and I don't know who, and I don't know why. But I think they want my dad, who's out in the garage. Alright, I'm gonna drop this Vendetta. Oh man. Ugin's gotta come out. I think possibly Wormcoil has to come out. We'll see. Wormcoil was really bad when I was testing it earlier. It was like a lot of the decks that we were wanting to connect and lifelink against had like sack outlets for their blockers, and we just couldn't get a hit in. Or you need Kano merch, like a Kano playmat. Oh man, I'll have to hire an artist, get some art done for a playmat, and then figure out a method to distribute them. Or a t-shirt. You do like the little 8-bit face logo that I made a while back. Put that on a t-shirt. I think I actually have a way to do that through one of the streaming services I was using. So I'll have to go back and check. But, the Kano band shirt, or silver when we need him. Isn't Ballista free in a deck like this? No. Recall, welcome. Glad to have you. Ballista is not free in a deck like this, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm still keeping Worst Fears. That stays in. I need a Damnation in the main. I'll use my pretty full art one that I like. I like it better than my Amonkhet ones, but I only have the one. So this deck was running into problems because Halsey, thank you for resubscription. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you for your subscription and resubscribing. It means a lot. Glad to have you. Can't talk today. I don't know why. Yeah, I think in this version, Bloodchief's Thirst has to come out entirely. Because I've not been running into as many Planeswalkers. Let's see. Reasonable. Ocean Infinity, thank you for subscribing. You're a wonderful human being, and I appreciate your support. Mini Hush. Hi, buddy. I would show you guys Porter, but I don't have a way to angle the camera at him, and the Porter cam is not here with me. But Ding Dong here scratched his ear, and it was bleeding, and he wouldn't leave it alone, so I had to tape his ear to the side of his head so that it would heal. And I'm going to have to get him in so that he can get looked at. But it's not urgent or anything, so no worries. It's just him being dumb. He's done it before. What else was I trying to play in this deck? I had some ideas for like how to get through the deck faster, and I think the extended conversation that I had with Brian about Sign in Blood and Read the Bones is the way to go. But this version in particular is suffering from too much life loss. So we need a top-end threat that can either gain us life, Professor Onyx style, or I really want to stay away from creatures if I can. In fact, I'm thinking about cutting Murderous Rider because of how awful I was struggling with it. Oh, it's Brian. Welcome. Yeah, I tested a list similar to this one. I've been editing it across the beginning of this stream. And Temporal Extortion. You just want an extra turn spell, although I would love to meme with Temporal Extortion. The version that I was playing earlier today with the Sign in Bloods, Sign in Blood felt amazing. I wasn't drawing Sign in Blood as often as I could. Gentleman Kano. I don't even have my beard oiled today. Soul Shatter, I did like Soul Shatter. I really missed the life gain from Tribute to Hunger, but Soul Shatter was quite good. Thank you, Controlled Megalodon, for reminding me. I needed to put an Edict back in the deck. Ocean Infinity, Brian. I really think the version of the deck that you're playing needs a single Tribute to Hunger or something to gain life. Yes, the Nighthawk Scavenger is probably a card worth considering. Like I said, I'm trying to stay away from creatures as much as possible, but it may be unavoidable at some level. So, let's see. Modern black cards. Gain life. Tarek, welcome. And thank you. I'm glad that this is not a terrible look for me. I did like the Archon of Cruelty. I hadn't had a chance to try it out. Corlash? Oh, I really want to play a Corlash version. I do want to play a Corlash version. Does he really die to Bolt? It's been so long since I've even looked at this card. He has Regenerate, and in theory he doesn't die to Bolt, because he'll be a 4/4. He's a 4-mana guy that counts the number of swamps. So one thing I was considering, over Murderous Rider, which, hang on, I gotta mute a group chat on my phone or it's gonna literally drive me insane. It's really awkward because it happens due to an event that happens every Wednesday at the same time that I stream. But, see, I was going to take a quick scan at stuff that gains life in Modern in black. That is instant, sorcery, enchantment, or artifact. That event, Kano's stream. Let's see. Battle at the Bridge? Battle at the Bridge is just a worse Erebos' Intervention. Sedgemoor Witch is grindy? Yeah, it is. It is. It's just not what I want to do. Vraska's Contempt might actually be worth it as a top-end thing. Let's see. It's too bad, like, Agonizing Siphon costs 4 and is not, like, 3. I'm gonna drop a Tribute to Hunger in here over a Murderous Rider, because as much as I like Murderous Rider, I think... Oh, Soul Spike! Soul Spike was the card. Someone mentioned Soul Spike, and that was the card I was wanting to put in the sideboard. I knew there was something, and I couldn't think of what it was. I'm going to drop a Collective Brutality for a Soul Spike. It's a free Lightning Helix Senior when you really need it. Yes, somebody, I knew somebody had said that and brought it up, and I could not for the life of me remember. I have been so busy the last few days. I apologize. Like, videos aren't going up exactly on time. I haven't had time to, like, be in the Discord as much as I want. And it's just... it's tough. Certain Death? Is that the 6-mana drain? Or 6-mana kill your opponent's creature and drain? I might want to play, like, Noxious Gearhulk. That would be a good removal spell. It's just expensive. No Squeaky Desk or Dachshund? Well, the Dachshund's over there whining at the door. Because I think she wants my father. But, yes, I'm at a different desk. I had to move setups for other reasons. I need to work on the sideboard a lot. Devour Flesh, I think, is just worse than Tribute to Hunger. But the Edict effect, like, the effect is not bad. I think it's just a slightly worse option for us. Because 2 mana versus 3 mana is not that big of a deal when it comes to an instant or removal spell for us. When it comes to, like, card advantage, it's actually a big deal. Read the Bones. There's a preliminary tonight. $6:30. No, if it's tonight, it's already running, I guess. Is there one tomorrow? Yeah, that would work, but I think I'm going to stay away from the creatures as much as I can. There's a couple scheduled for tomorrow. The Modern Showcase Challenge. I will not get to play in this time around because I will be driving that day. There's one in 7 hours. I will not be awake. I cannot stay up super late tonight because I have very important things I have to attend to tomorrow, both early and throughout the day. Which isn't fun, but it's necessary. Exsanguinate? Does Exsanguinate drain the life or just cause your opponent to lose the life? Because that's kind of like what we were using Consume Spirit for. I think Exsanguinate only makes your opponent lose the life. Exsanguinate is worse than Torment of Hailfire in all but some very weird edge cases, I think. I'm just taking a look at like some of the mono black ways to gain life before I inevitably don't do anything and just run it back as is. But trying to think of what else is new or interesting or has been going on recently. Oh, I know. I was gonna play hang on a sec. I was thinking about Profane Tutor and I wanted to test it. So let's see if I can get a hold of some Profane Tutors. Because as much as I like Sign in Blood, one of the things I was considering doing, like Read the Bones is either excellent or like kind of medium. I think Profane Tutor might be the way to go, especially if we're not playing Void Mirror out of the side or anything like that. It's possible I only need one Mastermind's Acquisition if I'm playing Profane Tutor. I have a Damnation in the main deck now. Thought Distortion, Torment of Hailfire, Nile Spellbomb's all fine. I think Break the Ice is the most marginal card, so I'm actually going to replace that with another Nile Spellbomb, because otherwise I don't have that much grave hate. Use the same art, or the same printing. I have Sadistic Sacrament as one of my Memra side effects, because I love the card. I think the card is worse than actual Memricide, but still. Okay, so I think we've got ourselves a list. Unless anybody has some severe objections to what we're playing. I was actually considering Vraska's Contempt. Orfeo, thank you for resubscribing. 6 months. It's not my birthday, but thank you so much. Glad to have you. You're a wonderful human being. Soul Spike, aggro. If I come up against Blitz, I'm not opposed to just throwing my hand away. Also for meme purposes. So, all right, let's go ahead and I can throw this up on Stream Decker so you guys can keep the list open if you want. It's not my birthday, Tarek. It's not my birthday, Halsey. Let's see. Okay, and set as current. Okay, Stream Decker should have the updated deck. And yeah, let's go ahead and take this. I think I'm going to do a full league with this. I don't think I'm going to sit around and try. Oh, actually, I don't have the event tickets. 1 second. One second. I need to purchase some event tickets. So you get to see me in all my full HD 4K face. Yeah, full face cam, and we are not restarting the client. This is the extremely rare credit card full face Kano. Who are you and what did you do with Kano? I could have like shaved to like just the goatee and been evil Kano, but like Kano's moral compass has never actually been defined, so evil Kano could actually be like good Kano or something. Maybe we should restart the client just to be safe. I'm sure it'll be fine. Alright, let's do this. Mono Black Control. Competitive League. I queued up with the right deck, right? Okay, yes, this is the right deck. If you lag out game one, you know we're never going to let you live it down. Yeah. So, I'm trying to think if I have any other news for you guys. Anything else interesting going on? I had a tough time decompressing. I actually took time off of work to spend time with my family and help my brother out with some stuff. There was a family party because there'd been a few babies that had been born that all of the family had not seen yet, and everybody's now vaccinated, so it was all fine. I got to try some really kick-ass mead in southern Wisconsin. It was a coffee mead that was made with it was honey wine brewed with local honey and with decaf coffee, and it was actually super refreshing and delicious. Did I commit a political scandal? No comment. It was super good, and it's been so incredibly hot and humid here. It's just like being outside is just, oh, it was horrible. So like a little bit of that to help you cool off and relax at the end of the day is pretty fantastic. I also shifted 2 tons of bricks with my family. My father and I had to move a whole hell of a lot of bricks, and I don't recommend it. Oh, one last thing, because I have a decent number of people here. We're playing Mono Black Control version 6. Also welcome, Clayton. I will keep this even versus Aluris deck because triple hand hate is pretty fantastic. Oh yeah, so I get 5 new emote slots because follower only emotes are a thing now. So anybody who follows will be able to use them. Any recommendations for follower emotes or 5 new emotes that people would like to see in chat? I'm brainstorming. There will be some photoshopping done later. No comment on that, Sean. I'm definitely not his evil alternate universe self. I've been talking so much across the last few days, it's ridiculous. We still need the Kano ban emote in here. I like that emote, and I like that art, but it doesn't translate well to emote. Maybe if I like, because it's horizontal, maybe if I cut it into 2 emotes, I can make it a thing. I'll try that. I'll see if I can come up with that. Kano, Big No, Braino, and Evil No. Okay, we're keeping. I look like the more handsome version. Well, that's what they say about the devil, isn't it? Alright, opponent starts Dragon's Rage Channeler. We draw another swamp. And give him the old Inquisition. Opponent has Lightning Bolt, Croxa, Inquisition. So we are going to take Lightning Bolt. Because if my opponent casts Croxa, we'll just discard Thoughtseize. They're going to Inquisition us. That's fine. So they can take Inquisition or they can take Thoughtseize. They probably should take Inquisition because while Thoughtseize has wider targets, it also causes us to lose life. Yeah. We untap, we draw. Urborg. I'm not going to play Urborg. If I let my opponent cast Croxa, and I discard Thoughtseize, I end up losing 2 less life, and the thing that I want to happen happens anyway. So we're going to go with that route. Opponent plays Polluted Delta, which we didn't know they had. They go to combat. We untap. We draw Baleful Mastery. Alright, well there's a way we can answer Croxa, if necessary. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize, because it's been long enough. Oh, you can get custom sleeves now? That's a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing. You can only order if you're in the UK, though? Oh, okay. I mean, I figured it was kind of a matter of time thing now that I'm thinking about it, but still. Red, blue, or... This Prismari command? No, this would be Kolaghan's command. They are going to 2 damage to us and make us discard. So we're going to discard Urborg because we don't need it. Although that does take me off of... Still, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry if you guys hear a lot of dog noises. I'm actually in the living room. So opponent is going to attack us for 3. We take 3 and go to 11. And if my opponent casts Croxa from the grave, we can Baleful Mastery and discard Professor Onyx. Okay. So Baleful Mastery, let them draw a card. Discard Professor. We untap. We draw a swamp. Play a swamp. I don't really have any good sideboard cards for this particular situation. So we need to tutor for a card here. Question is, what do we get? I kind of want to get Cabal Coffers, but if I draw a land at this point, it's going to be terrible. I think the best bet is to get Liliana of the Dark Realms, because that is both a land and a planeswalker. Opponent has the Thoughtseize, never mind. I should have gotten Cabal Coffers. Actually, so this has come up a couple of times. Strategy for this deck. There are times where a tutor is the last card in your hand. If you tutor for Cabal Coffers, everybody goes, oh my god, he tutored for a threat. Thoughtseize every single time. And I should have thought about that, and I should have grabbed Cabal Coffers there. Thankfully, we top deck like gods, so kill Dragon's Rage Channeler, pass the turn. Thank you, Tarek. Thank you for keeping me honest. Opponent plays a land, they crack it. Minnie, Dad's working in the garage. You can't go out there right now. Alright, opponent plays Luris. We're going to Bolt Lily, which that does not... Now it gets Delirium. Okay. Good old Zero Justice stream. Glad to have you, Bone Daddy. Let's go ahead and sign in blood. We get an Erebos' Intervention and a Inquisition of Kozilek. So I think we uptick on Luris and kill Luris, because otherwise my opponent's going to start drawing a bunch of extra cards. They have to take a turn off of attacking us unless they have lethal somehow. Good old Zero Justice stream. Oh, man. Opponent plays Death Shadow, which is a huge problem. Top deck Damnation, please. We untap. Draw Bloodstained Mire. We're dead. Okay. A Discord-wide Among Us night. That is something that people have wanted for a while. And for one reason or another, I have not been able to make it happen. I would just immediately get voted off every single time, wouldn't I? So we're going to bring in the other Damnation. Collective Brutality kind of matters a little bit. And I think Feed the Swarm's coming out. And so is... Oh my god, Clayton, no. Oh no. No. I thought you... See, here I thought you guys would do something cool, like put Kano in the Karn pose, or replace the guy on the Battle of Wits single image with Kano, doing like the levitating thing. Or Knight of the White Orchid, but it's Kano riding Porter, or something silly. No, let's get a pregnant Kano on a card sleeve. Oh my goodness. Dragonstorm. I probably should get Kalitas in here as well. Oh, that's right. I should take out removal that's bad versus them. What removal do I have that's bad versus them? It's not intervention, actually. Liliana's a little bit questionable, because while it does kill stuff, in general, it's not that great. And maybe I cut a Thoughtseize? Just because of the life loss? Let's try this. Bring in all 4 Feed the Swarm, you can go 1-for-1 with them. Well, a lot of their guys are 1-drops. Maybe I should actually do that. But it's too late because I clicked submit. Alright, this hand looks great. Even if we get Thoughtseize, we have Profane Tutor or Sign in Blood on turn 2, and they both perform kind of similar roles. So Thoughtseize our opponent. Opponent has Dragon's Rage Channeler, Scourge of the Skyclaves. Take Channeler from them. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, cracks Scalding Tarn, shocks. Top decks another Channeler. We untap. Draw Archon of Cruelty. So, let's see. We know our opponent's hand. They have Bolt, Polluted Delta, K-Command, Snapcaster, and Scourge. If I don't Erebos' Intervention, there is a strong chance off of Lightning Bolt they can find the 4th card type to put in the grave. I'm thinking Sign in Blood might be the play, but I'm taking a lot of damage, and there's a Scourge of the Skyclaves that is about to come out. If I draw a land, I'll have Murderous Rider or Swift End. I'm not going to be able to multi-spell next turn, but if I get Thoughtseize... Yeah, alright, let's Sign in Blood. Pass the turn. So, if my opponent plays Scourge of the Skyclaves, we'll end up having to Swift End it here. Okay. So they're going to hit us for 1. We go to 15, untap. We draw Cabal Coffers, which is sweet. I am going to sorcery speed this because I think they actually play Drown in the Loch, and I do not want to get that countered. I think they played this Polluted Delta. They're going to hit us for 1. We take 1, go to 12. We draw Liliana of the Dark Realms. Play Cabal Coffers. Does this put me at 5 mana? Let's play Murderous Rider. See if they do anything. They don't. And let's try and kill Dragon's Rage Channeler. Oh, they have Lightning Bolt. So if they hit a thing that isn't a creature, instant, or land and put it in the grave, it actually survives this intervention. And it's a Thoughtseize. So that ended up very poorly for me. Maybe I should have done that in the opposite order. Or maybe I should have just powered out a huge intervention rather than trying to get greedy. But I really was worried about a counterspell. They're going to hit us for 3. We untap. We draw a Swamp. So I can either use Liliana as a removal spell. If I play Bloodstained Mire, it gives me 7 mana. Next turn I can play Archon of Cruelty. So play Liliana. We are going to use her as a removal spell here. -3. We will not give it +5/+5. Suspend Profane Tutor. Pass the turn. And next turn, if my opponent plays a Death Shadow, we're going to play a Gigantic Archon. It's going to make them discard. It'll Edict them. It'll draw us a card. It'll do all these wonderful things. Opponent Snapcaster Mage. Lightning Bolt with no targets. The concern, I guess, is that they K-command us, but if they have Drown in the Loch, it won't counter this. We untap, Profane Tutor ticking down. One thing I've noticed is in the current modern metagame, I have to manage all of the special zones so frequently. Just like moving them around the screen so that you can see them for the camera. Don't take that out of context. Play a Swamp. Play Archon of Cruelty. Edict our opponent, gain life and drain. We get a Sign in Blood. This, Brian, this is one of the Archon of Cruelty was a card that I saw you running that I was like, I don't think that's good. And then just kind of threw it in at the last second, and here it's very obviously good. It's a great way to end the game. Because even if they answer it, it's like you Mind Rotted them, and Sovereign's Bited them, and Edicted them, all in one card. So, like, it's not bad. Maybe I want Nile Spellbomb for the Delirium and Snapcaster stuff. There's also a really strong chance that I'm just over sideboarding. You said bring in the Feed the Swarms. When do you plan to play until? I will be playing for a while tonight. I was going to try and fit other stuff in at the end of the day because I'm getting close to leaving my family's residence and returning back to my home in Utah. But I'm going to put in the effort to stream tonight and Just whenever I get the other stuff done is whenever I get it done. At least have them in on the draw since they will be ahead on creatures. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Would they be better or worse? I guess I should leave Bantu's Last Reckoning in the sideboard. What do you think I should take out for them? It's definitely better than the Worm Coil. It's definitely cooler than the Worm Coil. I don't know. Well, it does have a very strong enter the battlefield effect, and there was, during the video that I think is going up tomorrow with this deck, you'll see that Worm Coil was actually hot garbage. At least the last time I tested with it. Oh, you probably will. I don't know how long your drive is, but I'll be here for a while. You think cut Increasing Ambition? Yeah, I could see that. I very rarely want to cut the tutor. Okay, I can take out Worst Fears. That's reasonable. I very, very rarely want to cut Increasing Ambition because it's such an amazing card, but you're right. I don't know that the game is going to go that long. Alright, this hand seems pretty fantastic. We have removal, we have hand hate. Opponent leads on Polluted Delta. Into Blood Crypt, Dragon's Rage Channeler, Mishra's Bauble, surveilling a creature into the grave. They sack Bauble. They draw a card. We draw another Erebos' Intervention. Okay. There's no way they don't have Delirium next turn. So, pretty sure it's the push. Yeah, it's definitely the push. It just warranted evaluating there. Oh, that's true, because the life gain and -X, it's basically -XX when your opponent plays Scourge of the Skyclaves. We're getting Inquisition, so they can take our Inquisition or they can take an Erebos' Intervention. I wish that Erebos' Intervention gained you life no matter which side you cast, but... Welcome, Joest. We're currently playing Mono Black Control in Modern. Double Inquisition. They take our other Erebos' Intervention, so our hand just got a lot worse. We draw Professor Onyx, play a Swamp, Inquisition. Opponent has Stubborn Denial, Drown in the Lock, and K Command. Oh, so... I think I take K Command here because Drown in the Lock is not that great against us. A lot of our threats cost more than they'll likely have put cards in the grave. K Command lets them get a creature and make us discard. Stubborn Denial is just a force spike until they have a creature that's huge. So we'll take K Command. Pass the turn. Opponent top decks Expressive Iteration like a god. Okay. There's a Death Shadow, so we would like removal for that. Liliana of the Dark Realms, I don't think counts. Play Verdant Catacombs. Pass the turn. Okay, so we untap, we draw Sign in Blood. Play Urborg. Sign in Blood might be the thing to try and resolve here. Because I can use Liliana of the Dark Realms and kill Death Shadow, but if I do that, and my opponent has another threat, which they invariably do, then they'll have threat plus open mana. Where this is probably my only chance to resolve this Sign in Blood. At least for a while. Although it does make it harder to resolve Professor Onyx. I don't think should have played that land right away if I was going to cast Sign in Blood. I think that was a mistake. Because if I draw Coffers... Okay, we get a Thoughtseize. Cast Thoughtseize. Oh, they put Luris into their hand. I didn't realize that. Like, we have to take Luris. The counter spells suck, and I've just turned on Drown in the Loch by casting Thoughtseize. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent plays Dragon's Rage Channeler and a second Death Shadow. So they have Stubborn Denial as a Force Spike, but not as a negate. And we draw Damnation because something is looking out for us right now. Damnation. Yeah! Woo! Doing work. Opponent untaps. They pass. We draw. Cabal Coffers. So I'm going to play Lily, and I'm going to hope that they Drown in the Loch this one. Yep. Play Coffers. Pass the turn. How would one visualize restarting the client in graphic form? Oh man, I don't know. We draw Verdant Catacombs. So we play Verdant Catacombs, activate Coffers, play Professor Onyx. Opponent drew a second Drown in the Loch. This is a top deck fight if I've ever seen one. The good news is we have a lot of like redraws we can hit. The bad news is that's going to kill us in one. Feed the Swarm. Well, this is going to force them to Stubborn Denial, but... Okay, so now we have to draw removal. And removal that can kill Scourge, which I think is anything at this point. They play Bloodstained Mire, they go to combat, they hit us for 8, and we go to 4. And we top deck nothing. That's really disappointing. Yeah, it was that second Drown in the Loch that got us there. Because if Professor Onyx had resolved, we would have gotten a new card, then we would have had an onboard Edict ready to go, and kind of disappointing. That was definitely winnable. You just had to believe in the heart of the cards? No. Kano is Yugi. You haven't played. Oh my gosh. It's time to stutter on the P and then punt. Halsey, I take offense to that. Yeah, this seems fine. I was very clearly trying to be sarcastic. I don't care. I'm a redhead, dude. And actually, it's really funny that that you say that, because I'm the only redhead in my nuclear family. So we're going to lead on Inquisition, and it appears that our opponent is playing Cascade into Living End. So we're going to take Teferi. And we're going to have to Thoughtseize Living End. We draw Inquisition, so we're playing Hand-Hate Tribal right now. Let's go ahead and Inquisition. Take Shardless. Then Thoughtseize. Yeah. They might be able to suspend it at some point in the eventual future, but I'll take Waker of Waves because that gets them 2 cards deep. Pass the turn. They probably think I'm playing 8-rack. Opponent cycles Curator of Mysteries. They untap. They play Seachrome Coast. We untap. Draw Swamp. Thoughtseize. Okay, they just have 2 lands in hand. Play land, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play an island. They might be playing a Waker of Waves. Okay. I have it to Teferi. They down tick him to draw. We untap. We draw a swamp. Play a swamp. Pass the turn. Actually, probably should have played Bloodstained Mire there in the case that they did Cascade into Living End, because then I could kill the Curator of Mysteries, untap, and cast Increasing Ambition. Actually, I can't, because Teferi prevents me from casting at instant speed, so it doesn't matter. Never mind. Opponent hard casts Curator of Mysteries. We untap. We draw Cabal Coffers. So... Can't believe you expect me to read. Increasing Ambition. We're definitely casting Increasing Ambition this turn. The question is what we are getting. So this is 3 mana to get 4, and 5, 6 mana total. Next turn it'll be 7, 8. So we could go get Archon of Cruelty, and we could cast Archon. Or we could flashback Increasing Ambition next turn. Or we could get Worst Fears. I think we just get Archon. There is a bit of a concern with our opponent top decking a Cascader, but there's nothing we can. There's literally nothing we can do about it. If my opponent goes down to 1 card in hand and doesn't have a like some kind of way to counter Archon, then we're fine for a turn, but we draw Urborg, which actually increases our mana by a bit more. So if I play Urborg, then we have 6 swamps. Cabal Coffers and 2 swamps make 6 mana off 10 mana. But I also fix my opponent's mana to the point they can actually just suspend. Let's save the Bloodstained Mire, because I still will probably have to Fatal Push. We'll play Archon. I actually miscounted. I only have 9 mana. And like, what's my opponent going to do? To Fairy unsummon this? I mean, they could Cascade into Living End, and then that would be really bad, but I suppose we could then Increasing Ambition flashback to go get Damnation or something. They are going to hardcast Solitude. Swords to Plowshares to gain us life. Then they have to discard their last card in hand, sack a creature. They discard Living End. We draw Liliana. Oh, they discard Generous Gift. Then we can Fatal Push Curator, because we got a permanent leave. Pass the turn. The life gain, was it Curator? or was it my opponent's Solitude? We untap. We draw. Mini Hush. There's no need to use that. Use your inside voice. Ouch. We lose Cabal Coffers, but we get an Elephant. We draw Professor Onyx, which we can still play, which is pretty sick. Sorry, Halsey. Uptick Professor Onyx. Let's get a, I guess, Dreadhorde General. I could get Mastermind's Acquisition, and we could go get Torment of Hailfire. And then if I get another Cabal Coffers, that's really sick. Let's do that. Take Mastermind's Acquisition. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they draw. I could also Mastermind's acquisition for Sadistic Sacrament and steal the rest of their living ends. That would be fun. Opponent plays a tap land. We untap. We draw Verdant Catacombs. Uptick Professor. Let's see. Erebos' Intervention just exiles their whole grave if they don't have an instant speed Cascade spell, which I don't think they can because the only ones in Bant colors are Ardent Plea, Shardless Agent, and really unplayable like 4 and 5 mana ones, I think. So maybe I just exile their whole grave this turn. They have 9 cards, so I'd have to spend X5. I could just exile the creatures, and that might let me play 5. So it'd be X3, and I could exile one more thing. Exile Living End. Drain my opponent. Exile their guys in grave. So a Cascade spell is no longer good. Then we can play Liliana. That would not be fun at all, Tarek. That would be so mean. I much prefer double bolting my opponent's Siege Rhino with all their own cards. That makes people concede. Opponent uptakes to Fairy. Plays a Hallowed Fountain tapped. We untap. We draw a Swamp. Uptick Professor Onyx. Get Tribute to Hunger. Play a Swamp. Uptick Lily. Flashback Increasing Ambition. Drain our opponent. Get Coffers. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They uptick to Fairy to 3. I could ult Professor Onyx. I've never done that to win. And I think with as low of life total as my opponent has, that would actually win. Alright, I'm going to consider that a Professor Onyx victory. So, in between games, I need to restart the client. Do I appear like a better resolution to people? I mentioned that in the video where I shaved my beard off and moved my setup, but let me know. Can't you minus Small Lily to get back Archon? It was exiled, yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't even read your message yet. Say you had to spike Attorney, Jund or Urza's Asmo. I actually don't know what I would play right now, but the Asmo deck would probably be more expected, but probably more meta right now. I look thinner. I lost 20 pounds last month. I've gained a little bit of weight this month, but the beard covered up my weight loss. That's hilarious, Bone Daddy. Okay. I guess this is Necromentia Sad Sack time. Collective Brutality and Nile Spell Bombs. Fatal Push kills almost none of their creatures, so I'm going to take Fatal Push out. I will bring in the other Damnation. Worst Fears actually doesn't do that much here. I need to cut 2 cards still. Last Hope doesn't really do anything. And I might want to cut Dark Realms. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut Liliana of the Dark Realms. All right. One land on the draw with Inquisition Thoughtseize. We have Feed the Swarm, Erebos' Intervention, and Sign in Blood. But the odds that I actually draw a land are basically 0, knowing my luck. So we're going to mulligan. I like this a lot more. We're going to keep. And I'm going to put back, I think, Tribute to Hunger, because Murderous Rider can hit a Planeswalker. Opponent leads on island, passes. We draw Archon of Cruelty. What's Inquisition? Opponent has Ashiok and Teferi. Ashiok kind of matters, but so does Teferi. I think I would rather take Ashiok first. Because if we get milled, we could end up with almost no way to win, depending. Take Teferi, it draws. And so does the, like, same with the Cyclers that they've got right now. Opponent plays their other island. We draw Necromentia. Alright, crack Bloodstained Mire. Let's get a Swamp. And Sign in Blood. We get Sign in Blood in the 3rd land. So we're going to Necromentia next turn, Living End. Opponent is probably playing Teferi. Okay, they cycle Waker the Waves. They put Living End into the grave. They play Botanical Sanctum, so they can't play Teferi this turn. We untap and draw Bloodstained Mire. Play Verdant Catacombs, fetch up a Swamp. Necromentia. Opponent cycles Striped Riverwinder. Cycles Windcaller Haven. We'll say Living End. Opponent has Teferi, Teferi, Island, Island, Foundation Breaker. Alright. Living End, no longer a problem. Sick. Opponent plays an island. They're playing a 2/2 this turn. Oh, they're playing a Curator of Mysteries. It's a little bigger. We untap. We draw Baleful Mastery. So think we just full price Baleful Mastery this turn. Actually, we Swift End this turn. Because next turn I can Sign in Blood, try and draw another Swamp or Cabal Coffers or something, and then play Murderous Rider. Okay, put a Plays to Fairy. Well, we have Baleful Mastery for that. Our opponent does have a second one, though. So I might just let that one stick around for a bit. We draw Tribute to Hunger. Sign in Blood. Play a Swamp. Play Murderous Rider. Pass the turn. So if my opponent plays a big creature, we can Tribute to Hunger. I might be Mastermind's Acquisitioning for a Cabal Coffers next turn. Kind of depends on what we draw and what they play. Opponent plays a Seachrome Coast. They uptick to Fairy to 2. And they play Detention Sphere. Okay. Dick Record, thank you for the host. The raid, thank you. We untap. We draw Inquisition. You're a wonderful human being. Thank you. Inquisition. Let's see what they got going on over there. Foundation Breaker, Island, take to Fairy. Might as well get this over with, I think. Pass the turn. You've been thwarted. It's not my birthday. Opponent plays a Razorverge Thicket, which is the card they drew. Thank you, I appreciate that. I was kind of worried about doing it. Opponent plays a Foundation Breaker. They're holding an island. We are already 0-1, so we cannot get that 5-0. We draw Baleful Mastery. So I'm going to Mastermind's Acquisition for Cabal Coffers. Play Cabal Coffers. Pass the turn. Opponent goes to combat, attacks us for 2. We go to 9. Yugi with Kano's face just looks like Yugi with a beard. Alright, they play an island. They're casting Glass Dust Hulk. Alright. Floating mana for something else. What are they playing? What are they doing? Okay, we untap. We draw a Swamp. Play a Swamp. 6 mana, 7, 8. Hold priority. Cast Archon of Cruelty. So let it resolve. Then we'll Baleful Mastery, Glass Dust Hulk. Then they have to sack their only creature and discard their only card. And only if they drew an instant speed answer to Archon of Cruelty do we get punished here. And we made them discard a Windcaller even. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent scoops the match. All right, well, we're 1-1. And we will be moving on to round 2. Or round 3, actually. That was 2. So, restart the client. Yeah, I was actually looking, since I don't remember who's mentioned that I look younger. The only difference between me now and me maybe like 8 years ago, because I had this like exact style and everything, is that my hair is just a little bit thinner, like right here. That's it. But it's thin enough that I can notice. I think you're right, Ocean Infinity, Brian. I think instead of playing Ugin, playing the Archon and playing a Damnation in the main are the way to go. Because 99% of the time, Ugin is an 8-mana Damnation. As cool as it is, I think you're right. Orfeo, welcome. We lost round 1, we won round 2. That's all you missed. I don't know when you left, I can't remember. But we beat Cascade by casting Archon. It was pretty awesome. The like Bant living end, I guess. Oh no, reality is seeping through. Yeah, round 1, Erebos' Intervention just exiled all the relevant spells. Like, oh man. That card, really, if Erebos' Intervention... When did my arm get chopped to a nub? It's just the boundaries of the camera. Like Erebos' Intervention, if it just gained you life in both modes, it would be one of the best mono black spells ever printed. Because that would make it like Suffer the Past and Deathwind and I don't even think there is a I don't think there's another -X and gain life spell. Consume Spirit, I guess, would be the closest. But obviously Consume Spirit can go face. I remember Heliod's Intervention, which I think is like destroy X enchantments or gain twice X life, I think are the 2 modes. And I don't remember... Well, Purphoros' Intervention makes a token or deals damage to a creature. That one I remember. I don't remember what Nylea's or Thassa's Intervention does. Oh, Thassa's Intervention is the scalable Mana Leak style spell or fixed dig through time. I would like to play first. This hand is great. I will keep. Second Urborg would be the only thing I'd change about this hand, I think. So, lead on Urborg. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Hallowed Fountain into a Ruin Crab, so we may not be able to beat this guy pre-board. but we'll see. Untap. We draw Murderous Rider. Play a swamp. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. They play Hedron Crab. And a fetch land. They mill Sign in Blood Mastermind's acquisition on Liliana. That is unfortunate. Mastermind's acquisition for Emrakul was kind of something I was hoping to do. Alright, and opponent is passing. We untap. We draw Baleful Mastery. Play Cabal Coffers. And Swift End. Couldn't stay away from Increasing Ambition. It remains one of the best spells in the deck. It is probably the greatest singleton I have ever played. So opponent cracks Marsh Flats in response to Swift End. They mill us for 3, getting a Prairie Stream tapped. Milling Cabal Coffers, Liliana Dreadhorde General, and Inquisition. We lose 2 life. Opponent untaps. They play a swamp. Then they pass. We draw Profane Tutor. Okay, we're getting extirpated. We're going to extirpate Liliana Dreadhorde General? I guess you get to take a look at our deck, sir. The only issue with tutoring for Emrakul is it would be in your hand and not your library. Yeah, I mean, we could, like, Collective Brutality and get super tricky and ditch it, but I don't even think I have the Collective Brutality in the main right now. Profane Tutor is a delayed set of traps? Yeah, no kidding. So we go to our main, and I think we suspend Profane Tutor. We're not going to aggro our opponent out before they mill us with a single Murderous Rider. That is not happening. So opponent plays an island. It's kind of weird how I have 2 separate exile zones here. What in the world are they running white for? It could just be like control cards. We don't have any creatures in the grave, but I could play Liliana the Last Hope here. Her ult can win the game in a hurry, and it would count Murderous Rider, who is a zombie. But I don't think we'll be able to get all the way to ult. Oh, Prismatic Ending. Yeah, they could be playing Prismatic Ending. Especially if they were more controlling for a mill deck rather than like straight up combo mill. Uptick Lily to 4, pass the turn. They play an island. They pass. Profane Tutor coming off suspend. Cast Profane Tutor. I think I'm just going to get a second Cabal Coffers. We draw Swamp. Play Cabal Coffers. then increasing ambition. If my opponent has Archive Trap, they probably start casting it now. Because they could drastically reduce the number of things we could retrieve. I guess we're going to try and get... I don't have any hand hate right now. Archon of Cruelty is something they're probably most likely to be able to interact with. It's either that or Professor Onyx. I could grab Worst Fears and we could find out. You think Professor Onyx? Psychic Strike? What mill counterspell? I'll take... Yeah, I guess we'll get Professor Onyx. I'll take Lily. Then pass the turn. Oh, Drown in the Loch. Drown in the Loch. That's what you meant. Okay, we get trapped. We'll get trapped again. Okay, we only have 14 cards left in our deck. Opponent plays Polluted Delta. And passes. We untap. We draw Archon of Cruelty. Play a Swamp. Cast Archon of Cruelty. They have Drown in a Loch. Now the question is, do I mill myself to pick it back up? And I think the answer is no. So, uptick Liliana. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Mesmeric Orb, which is a problem. We mill 4. Baleful Mastery, Sign in Blood, Verdant Catacombs, Baleful Mastery. We draw Thoughtseize. Uptick. We will try and Thoughtseize their last card. It's a land. Well, if my opponent bricks for a couple of turns, we might be able to get them. Actually, no, we can't. We will have to... Our opponent will have to play nothing. Like, if they top deck only lands for, like, 5 turns... If I cast any spell right now, we die off of milling off our own permanents. So the only way we could possibly win, which we won't, because my opponent just cast Ancestral Recall, is to ult Liliana, get enough zombie tokens before our opponent kills us to actually kill them in one swing, because we have no answer for these. So yeah, we're milling 3 cards, 6 cards this turn. We gotta feed the Swarm. Alt Lily. Pass the turn. But I think we still mill because a card went to our grave. I think we die before we could ever get enough zombie tokens. If I feed Sanity, I die. So next turn, I don't lose any cards to Mesmeric Orb. Okay, now my opponent just kills us. Okay. All right. Emrakul coming in the main deck. Collective Brutality coming in. I don't think I need Sadistic Sacrament or Necromentia in this matchup. Thought Distortion, there's some merit to. I think I bring in Nile Spellbomb. We're going to drop Tribute to Hunger because it doesn't hit like anything. And what else do we drop? I think Liliana, I think both a 3 mana and 4 mana Liliana need to come out. Torment main. El Masadri, you think Feed the Swarm? Feed the Swarm comes out or goes in? I can see Torment coming in. Out. Okay. I need to cut one card. And it might be a tutor. Like, I could cut Profane Tutor here. Just to not search my deck that much. Not a fan of Murderous Rider. Yeah, we're not going to win with damage. Is Feed... Do they play Planeswalkers? That's true. Actually, Baleful Mastery's coming out. 2 Feed the Swarms are going back in. And my opponent is playing the enchantment that doubles their mills, so maybe we get a hit on that and that makes a difference somehow. I'm not 100% sure, but let's hope Emrakul is enough. I do not like the fetch land right now, but... Oh, they have Ashiok. That's potentially true. We'll keep. Good luck, Halsey. I hope you find it. Opponent has Leyline of Sanctity. I guess they were worried about hand hate. I'm going to do this in fetch now because they only have 4 cards in hand. Pass the turn. It's for enabling Fatal Push. We have only a couple of them. Opponent plays a Hedron Crab. We untap. We draw Murderous Rider. Well, the crab must die immediately. Pass the turn. They play Marsh Flats. No extra crab, which is nice. Sign in Blood. They're going to counter it. Okay. That is unfortunate. Okay. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They Thought Scour us. We mill a Swamp and a Thoughtseize. They play a land and a Mesmeric Orb. We untap. We mill 2. We draw Urborg. Play Urborg. I could just cast Murderous Rider. That's like not unreasonable. Yeah, I think I will. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they mill Fraying Sanity, Thought Scour, and Mesmeric Orb. They play a Sunken Hollow. And they play a Fraying Sanity. Okay, we untap. We mill Thoughtseize, Mastermind's Acquisition, Castle Lochthwain. We draw a swamp. Play a swamp. Go to combat. Attack for 2. I could feed the swarm Fraying Sanity. I could also feed the swarm Leyline of Sanctity. Fraying Sanity, the odds are it mills. You can get, everybody thinks get rid of Sanity? Alright. I was going to say I could get greedy and try and accept some big mills and then try and mill Emrakul, but opponent mills Polluted Delta, Hedron Crab, and Mesmeric Orb. Greed's not good. It's a great card. You pay 1 black, pay 2 life, and draw a card, man. Knowing my luck, I'll draw Emrakul. Yeah. Okay, we draw Profane Tutor. So, suspend Profane Tutor. Go to combat. Attack for 2. That is true. Okay, we're getting pathed. Opponent has no cards in hand, so we will just go get a swamp. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, mills a Surgical. They play a land. We untap, we mill Erebos' Intervention, Dreadhorde General Urborg. We get a Thoughtseize, which is currently useless. Check the artwork channel. Oh no. Is Karn like my frickin' JoJo stand? Oh, I love it. Oh, I could put this on a t-shirt for sure. Yeah, oh yeah, no, I could see the like menacing, and I've got the Karn runes as like the Millennium Karn runes. Oh, that's wonderful. All right, pass the turn. Oh my gosh, Clayton, thank you so much. Opponent is passing. So I'm going to exile 8 cards. UK, no. Maybe not. Okay. So Profane Tutor is coming off Suspend. We have 5 mana. So that's hilarious, Dick Record. I can get and cast Obnixilis. I could get Torment of Hailfire. I could also get Cabal Coffers. I kind of want to get Cabal Coffers. Yeah, let's get Cabal Coffers. We draw another Urborg. Play Cabal Coffers. I'm just going to exile their grave. Because why not? Pass the turn. Why not hit my grave to dodge Drown? Because I want a higher life total when I eventually mill Emrakul, basically. There's Increasing Ambition. We draw Sign in Blood. So I think we cast Increasing Ambition. Kano isn't an anime protagonist yet. We'll get Cabal Coffers and Torment of Hailfire. Play Cabal Coffers. Pass the turn. What was that hyena laughing? Check the artwork channel on Discord. Opponent plays a crab. Plays a land, they're gonna mill us. They don't have any cards left in hand, and in theory we mill Emrakul. In theory. Because we have 6 tapped permanents and 6 cards in deck. Last card in deck, Emrakul. What an incredible last card. Oh, Torment is definitely lethal. Are you kidding? Do you see how much mana we have? Play Urborg, keep the new one. Oh, what's the matter, man? Do you want to come up and sit on my lap? Come here. You can sit in my lap if you can jump up here. Nice. All right. Game 3. Anybody have any ideas for adjustments for Game 3? Bring all the Feed the Swarms in? Feed seems better than Murderous Rider. I mean, I guess it is. Yeah, they probably will Surgical Emrakul. I need to cut one card. I guess I could cut an Inquisition because they are playing Leyline and they think mulliganing to it is a good idea. Let's try like that. Seems a little suspect, probably. It might matter if they try to Visions of Beyond and I can exile enough cards out of my grave to turn that back into a cantrip. That can actually be a huge deal. If I keep this hand and they mulligan to Leyline, we are screwed. They do mulligan to 6. I think I actually have to mulligan this. I can keep this, and I will put back a Verdant Catacombs. I can lead on Thoughtseize, and then Sign in Blood. Opponent mulliganed to 4 to get a Leyline. Okay. So we play a swamp. Opponent has a fetch land. We're probably gonna have to use Feed the Swarm on Hedron Crab. My opponent only has 1 card in hand. I could Feed the Swarm Leyline, but I don't think I'm gonna need to Thoughtseize for quite a while. Opponent mills Emrakul, shuffles everything back in. We're fine. We draw a swamp. Feed the crab to the bugs. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays a Flooded Strand. Cracks Flooded Strand. Gets a Prairie Stream tapped. We untap and draw Obnixilis, reignited. Sign in Blood ourself. Play Urborg. Pass the turn. Do I want to sign some playmats? I can. Mini hush. Just go lay down and relax. Opponent fetches up a Hollowed Fountain. They're kind of just drawing lands and bricking, which is kind of nice. Play a swamp. Pass the turn. Next turn we can play Obnixilis. Do I have a logo? I've got the 8-bit image of my face. I'm not particularly fond of it, but it's what I did for a logo when I first started streaming. We draw Archon of Cruelty. How do you think Blue Moon is set up nowadays? I don't know if it's good or not. Here's my logo. The bunt. Draw an extra card. Pass the turn. I mean, if I ult Obnixilis, that's probably a way we can win. We untap. Draw a swamp. Play a swamp. Uptick Obnixilis. We draw Torment. Play Liliana. Make a zombie. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Flooded Strand, cracks it for a Sunken Hollow. We untap, we draw Damnation. I'm about to hard cast Archon of Cruelty. I should have drawn before I played a swamp, but too late. Uptick, uptick. Cast Increasing Ambition. Get Cabal Coffers. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. And scoops. We won the match. We beat Mill. All right. We must restart the client. Minnie, do you need to go outside? All right, 1 second. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about the interruption there. I wonder if it's hard to turn a static image into an animated splash screen like that. Not particularly. I mean, people used to use Flash for that. I don't know what program is like the de facto thing now, or maybe even Photoshop supports it at this point. I haven't looked at Photoshop since like Photoshop 6. But Mad Meta to try. Crab Tribal with support from Modern Horizons 2. What was added in Modern Horizons 2 other than the like cycle mill spell? I actually did try a Crab Tribal deck. It was the last meme video I was working on. I never actually finished it. Oh, the Crab Lord. Scuttletide. The problem is your crabs want to mill. Scuttletide wants, I guess, you to be milled. I don't know if I can make a deck like that work. I could try, I suppose. This hand seems okay. I think I will keep. Just Fatal Push on turn 1, followed up by a Sign in Blood, I think is good enough. Anything special for Mad Meta or Tryharding number 100? I'd been racking my brain, but I couldn't come up with anything. Mom, not you too. You're the last bastion of sanity in this place. It's not my birthday. Play Urborg, Sign in Blood. Let's draw cards. We get a Baleful Mastery and a Swamp. 5-colored Tron. Ugh, no. I'm not doing that. Of course I know this stream is insane, Halsey. Oh my goodness. Am I playing against Dragonstorm? Okay, it's just another Wave Sifter deck. Play the Forbidden White Tron. I actually had a decent White Tron list. We're going to play Bloodstained Mire because we may need to fetch. Depending on whether this is Elemental Cascade or like Cascade into Omniscience garbage. I may need to turn on the Revolt part of Fatal Push. Opponent plays Seasoned Pyro. They're going to discard some cards and draw. We can use this to get information. Opponent discards Scalding Tarn and Glimpse. I think I am going to Fatal Push that Seasoned Pyromancer. If only because I have another Fatal Push in hand. We get Cabal Coffers. Alright. Play Cabal Coffers. Now I can cast Baleful Mastery. Opponent plays a Tireless Provisioner into a fetch land, getting a token. Alright, and they are passing. Alright, I think we gotta do this. Sultai Assault Formation Crabs. That plays like a tempo deck with Drown in the lock, and Mill, and Ancestral, and Coco. That sounds like an abomination. I like it. Alright, opponent fetches in response. We exile Tireless Provisioner. We untap. We draw Feed the Swarm. So play Verdant Catacombs. We are up to 7 mana. So let's Feed the Swarm, just take out the token, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Scalding Tarn. You guys are incorrigible. Alright, opponent cascades in the Glimpse of Tomorrow, so prepare for some shenanigans. Opponent shuffles their whole board up and gets a new board. Wave Sifter, Dark Dwellers, they get to spin again. This Fatal Push does nothing. I basically have to hope that my opponent doesn't have some way to instantly win the game. And then we need to draw like Damnation or a tutor for it anyway. So this is an Omnath version of the deck. Okay, now they get to shuffle up and replay that many cards again after floating mana. Man, this Urborg's actually helping them right now. Yep. Spin the wheel again. You know what? I think I'm just gonna F6. Oh, actually, I'm dead because they have Chancellor. I can set up a merch store through one of the streaming services that I have. So if that's something that you guys really want, I can make it happen. But I do kind of want Wraths. Edict is bad. Feed the Swarm I might need because my opponent might be playing Ley Lines, at least out of the board. Worst Fears I don't think is good here. Archon is not great at any point. What else is bad in this matchup? Liliana the Last Hope does kill tokens, but man, a lot of our actual top end is bad. So Mav recently learned what Komodo hype was, and he really likes the emote. That makes me laugh. I don't think I want Murderous Rider. If I'm bringing in all these Feed the Swarms, I probably don't need it. And I changed my mind about Collective Brutality. Let's run it like this. Alright, we'll play first. We have Sad Sack and Thoughtseize, but no lands. Got a mulligan. Much better. Thoughtseize hopefully is enough to delay our opponent. Mastermind's Acquisition can go get Necromentia. So I'm going to put back Baleful Mastery, because if my opponent is playing Leyline, I want to be able to Feed the Swarm it. It would get be neat to get a custom Kano playmat and have as many people from the Discord sign it as possible. That would actually be really cool. Okay, so opponent starts by revealing Chancellor of the Forge. So they get a token. I accidentally passed through my main phase. Okay, so play Swamp. Thoughtseize. Opponent has a Shardless and 2 lands. I could take Wave Sifter, but I think taking the Shardless is more important. Pass the turn. There's a Bob Ross emote. Oh, man. So they played Wooded Foothills. We draw another Thoughtseize. Play Urborg. And I think I will Thoughtseize that Wave Sifter. Yeah. Take Wave Sifter from them. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Steam Vents tapped. We take 1. Untap. We draw Damnation, which is excellent. I'm going to feed the Swarm the token. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Colony Garden, gets another token. We untap. We draw Sign in Blood. So, Sign in Blood. Second Cabal Coffers. Suspend Profane Tutor. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play another Colony Garden. As long as they don't go off right now. Please don't go off right now. Oh, come on! You better fizzle. Because I am literally this turn away from getting Necromentia on Glimpse of Tomorrow. Oh my god. Why? I was so close. What's the max toughness that's reasonable to kill when you're playing blue-red? 4 if you flame slash it? I don't really understand your question, actually. Opponent glimpses again. My game is lagging to hell and back. They get a Chancellor of the Forge this time. And they have 6 creatures. They can have 7, 8. 6 if you have double bolt. Or bolt snap bolt. I don't know if that's reasonable though. 6 tops because of Unholy Heat. That's actually not bad. There's also Magmatic Sinkhole, which they frequently played like 1 of. So opponent hits us for 6. We go to 6. Okay. We did not die. Thankfully. Oh, Violent Outburst. We definitely died. I was really confused for a second. That's disappointing. I should have beat that deck. Top deck and Cascade nonsense. Mauve, why? I mean, like, is Necromentia really the best Memoricide effect for this deck, though? Like, is it? I guess it is better than. Is it better than Lost Legacy? Because it puts stuff on board for your opponent. This hand is almost good. If this hand had a second land, it'd be great. This hand's amazing. We've got 3 lands, and we have Urborg and Cabal Coffers. We're going to keep. We're going to put back Worst Fears because we're a long way off from casting Worst Fears. Lost Legacy has restrictions. So Necromentia is a true, like, 3-mana Memoricide, then, is what you're telling me? Well, our opponent's playing Pillage. I think we take Utopia Sprawl here. Pass the turn. Opponent leads on Windswept Heath. We untap. We draw Baleful Mastery, play Urborg, suspend Profane Tutor, pass the turn. Non-land, non-artifact. So Necromentia can hit artifacts. How often do you Memoricide for an artifact, though? I could see it if your opponent was playing, like, Madcap into Empyrean and you had no way to answer Empyrean, but, like, can this deck not... I mean, this deck can't handle artifacts directly. It has to hand-hate them because black doesn't have artifact removal. Yeah, and you would just name Madcap, right? Necromentia can hit lands, just not basics. Oh, that is the important part. Because you could name Eldrazi Temple or something like that. Or Ghost Quarter. Or Urza's Tower. I could see that last one being the most relevant. Saga and Valakut both are... Okay, alright, you've convinced me. I did not know that, actually. I thought Necromentia and Lost Legacy were the same. And then I learned something today. So Profane Tutor ticking down on Suspend. We'll get it next turn. We draw Murderous Rider. We got to play out the Cabal Coffers. Our opponent might just pillage it. And we'll pass. If my opponent draws a non-red land, they may play out Tireless Tracker, at which point we can just Murderous Rider it. It's the same as Unmoored Ego, but Unmoored Ego gives them a card, not a 2/2. But Unmoored Ego is also blue. Yeah. Okay, that is why I got confused. Why does Soul Guide Lantern see play? Because it lets you exile the card you want out of the grave. The play pattern for it is very different than the play pattern for Relic, as an example. So opponent's going to pillage Coffers, rightfully so, because they're scared of it. So Profane Tutor comes off Suspend. I guess we just go get Coffers. And we draw a Swamp. I'm going to play the Swamp this turn. Pass the turn. Lantern is... Soul Guide Lantern's actually really good if you're playing a Luris deck. Leyline is arguably the strongest Grave Hate, but it's inconsistent. Because if it's not in your opener, it's really bad in almost every circumstance. Alright, I do need to Murderous Rider this. Even though it's not great for us. Because they can get another clue out of the deal. I mean, you could put Chalice on 0, or you could play Void Mirror, right? Like, those are the answer. But Necromentia just targets your opponent, and nothing else. Like, the other ones sit on board. And then your opponent can potentially remove it, that kind of deal. Play Cabal Coffers. Sign in Blood ourself. We draw Verdant. Cast Murderous Rider. Opponent might Lightning Bolt this. Grafdigger stops creatures from entering the battlefield through the library, so it stops Glimpse of Tomorrow, but it does not stop Crashing Footfalls, because Crashing Footfalls makes tokens from a card that's resolving on the stack. It does. Grafdigger's Cage stops Living End as well, and it would. It wouldn't stop Hypergenesis. All right. Opponent Blood Moons us. Well, thankfully, Blood Moon is not that great against us. It does stop us from playing Professor Onyx this turn, though, and that's kind of unfortunate. Oh, they can't cast spells from libraries. Okay, my mistake. Yes, it does. But, does Cascade exile it, though? Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, we untap. We draw an Inquisition. So opponent, I think, cast Lightning Bolt. Float mana, play Urborg. Keep the untapped one because it's legendary. Play Professor Onyx. Uptick Professor Onyx. Cage would stop Panglacial Worm, that is true. I guess I take Increasing Ambition here. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. So Clothis is going to exile something and drain us. You could include the Legendary Worm as a fun of. That's actually not a bad idea. I kind of like that. I think my opponent is playing Pyromancer. Okay. Let's see what they discard. They're down to one card in hand. We untap. We draw another Fatal Push. So, uptick Professor Onyx. Get... I guess we take one of the lands. Mastermind's Acquisition. I already have a tutor in hand. I just need to make land drops. Take Cabal Coffers. Play Cabal Coffers. Let's Inquisition our opponent's last card and drain them. Then I can either Fatal Push or Baleful Mastery. I think I'll Baleful Mastery Clothis if they play something that animates it. I saw it. I saw it. It's not a bad plan for how to lay out the playmat. Like, that's a pretty good mock-up. Opponent exiles to get mana. They had green. They crack a clue to draw. They crack a clue to draw. They play the Wooded Foothills. They go to combat. And they attack Professor Onyx for 5. I think I'm going to Baleful Mastery the Seasoned Pyro. This gains us life. This keeps Professor Onyx at a higher life total, so to speak. Opponent plays a Seasoned Pyro, dumps lands. We untap. We draw. Sign in Blood. Okay. Uptick Professor Onyx. Get a Swamp. Play a Swamp. Sign in Blood ourself. Drain our opponent. This Boomer Grull? It might be. We get Swamp and Swamp. Fatal Push. Increase for Feed the Swarm to unlock all the mana. You know, yeah, I think that's fine. If Professor Onyx ends up dying, which she will because she's at 5 and my opponent attacks, I think that's fine. I was kind of avoiding doing that, but... Pass the turn. I guess the real concern is my opponent... Oh, my opponent's going to exile Increasing Ambition. I can't actually do anything with that mana. They don't exile Increasing Ambition. They exile Fatal Push. That's impressive. Opponent Utopia Sprawls. This enables Coffers. So they kill Liliana and then hit us for 4. Okay. We untap. Porter, can you stop doing whatever's making that gross noise, please? They play a land. I think he's licking his paw. We untap. We draw Baleful Mastery. So... Feed. Oh, you know what? I could get rid of Coffers permanently by casting Baleful Mastery. Is that good? I can only do it while she's a creature, and if I remove anything before her... But if I Baleful first, I won't have any mana to activate Coffers, and my opponent has an active board. I mean, I could, like, Fatal Push a bunch. And if my opponent's holding a second Coffers, that's actually a huge deal. So I think we don't do that. Just give them the card. Oh yeah, I forgot. Baleful Coffers. Feed the Swarm Blood Moon. Play Swamp. Make 1,000,000 mana. And make a bunch more on top of that. Flashback Increasing Ambition because our opponent didn't exile it for some reason. Then I can get... I have 6 mana left. I could get like Damnation and Inquisition. Because I'm only at 8. Problem is if I get those 2 cards, my top decks get worse. I could get like Damnation and Erebos' Intervention, Damnation and Archon. Yeah, actually I think that's correct. Play Damnation. Blow up the board. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks Wooded Foothills, gets a forest. Cracks Wooded Foothills, gets a forest. Brian, you're doing so much strategy work right now. I really appreciate it. That's a reasonable way to put it, because it drawing you cards and gaining you life is really huge. In addition to like just wasting all your opponent's resources. I tend to struggle a lot more when I play decks with strategies built by other people, especially like this, which is like based on a deck that I started playing originally. I try to play this like it's my deck, my other deck, and it doesn't work that way. It's a different card. So my opponent's going to try and shut off a Cabal Coffers, but we're still going to play an Archon, and they're going to have to sack Karn. We get an Erebos' Intervention, play a Swamp. Play Archon of Cruelty. So opponent has to sack Karn and discard one of 2 cards in their hand. This actually unlocks our other Cabal Coffers now. So if we draw something else huge, we can... Tron, every version of Tron is the same deck. Every green Tron is the same deck, every Eldrazi Tron is the same deck, and every blue Tron is the same deck. We draw an Erebos' Intervention, so pass the turn. Opponent's dead in 1 swing, so... As you've seen, he can't play it well. You guys are savage. Opponent plays Karn, great creator. They're probably going to go get Ensnaring Bridge now. My Bluetron is significantly worse than everyone else's Bluetron. Opponent plays Ensnaring Bridge, which we don't actually have an answer for. Mastermind's Acquisition is in the graveyard, so we can't go get... I don't know that we have... I'm the best Coffers control player on Twitch. I'm the only Coffers control player on Twitch. What are you talking about? Take Bone Crusher Giant from them. Pass the turn. You can get under the bridge, use Erebos. Oh! I see what you mean. Oh, I should have done it. I should have done it. I didn't. If I draw... If I draw Sign in Blood, I can do it. Wow, that would have been a next level play. I think I need to gain life while I still have 1,000,000 mana. If you make it a Bluetron list and post it in Twitch chat, yeah, that's fine. Opponent is going to blow up our other Cabal Coffers. Yeah, I guess our out is Sign in Blooding them to death. Okay, they kept 1 card in hand. So play a Swamp. We're going to Erebos' Intervention X5. Go to combat. Attack our opponent. They have to sacrifice their Planeswalker. Ocean Infinity. Brian. Biggest galaxy brain. Oh, I can't believe that worked. Opponent plays a land and is very sad. Now we just need to draw Sign in Blood and our opponent's dead. Obnixilis will also do it eventually. It'll take a while, but it will work. Uptick Obnixilis. We get Liliana the Last Hope. Play Lily. Uptick. Play a Swamp. Pass the turn. Diamond Hands. Oh man. Opponent plays red and 6. Oh, they gave us another out. If we draw Worst Fears. Oh wait, no, I put it in the sideboard, didn't I? No, it's still in the deck, isn't it? Yes, if we draw Worst Fears, we could kill them with their own Ren and 6. We draw a Swamp. Uptick Ob. Liliana of the Dark Realms. Play a Swamp. Uptick Liliana the Last Hope. Play Liliana of the Dark Realms. thin our deck, get a swamp, pass the turn. If they kill... Oh, you know what we should do? I mean, we could have also just down-ticked Obnixilis, down-ticked Liliana, pick it up again, and then replay our Archon. It's like, our opponent's been dead for like 2 turns. we could just kill them right now. And none of you guys saw the line. We draw Profane Tutor. Play a swamp. There's no restriction on the creature I can get back this way, right? Okay. Kill Archon. Downtick Lily. Soul Spike would also do it. Yeah, that's true. But Soul Spike's not in the main deck. Okay, we got there. What is this, game 2? Oh my goodness. I think we do want Feed the Swarm. Kano tattoo tomorrow. Don't get a tattoo of me. Oh my gosh. Please, nobody ever get a tattoo of me. Please. That would be actually awful. Oh my gosh. What else do we need or want in this matchup? Actually, Collective Brutality is kind of good because they play Mana-Dorks. Bring in Necromentia for Karn? Maybe. What am I taking out here? Tribute to Hunger is actually pretty bad because they get a bunch of tokens off of Seasoned Pyromancer. I like Liliana of the Dark Realms because she offsets the land destruction. Dreadhorde General is kind of bad for the same reason because it's really just a big size edict. Can I show Chad a picture of me in the shiny shirt? I might have one. I'll have to find it. I might have to wait and post it after after the stream's over in the Discord. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait on that. How's the suspend worked for me? Oh no, you're talking about a different deck with somebody else. What are we using Skulls to blackmail Kano with this time? Oh gosh. I have 40 seconds to cut cards. I think I'm going to cut Worst Fears. I probably don't actually need Brutality, and I'm going to go down one Hand Hate spell. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's what I'm doing. I can't keep a no-lander, especially versus land destruction. This might work with Sign in Blood, but if my opponent... I'm going to put back Damnation. Alright. We draw Profane Tutor. We'll lead on Bloodstained Mire because we can hide it under the fetch. So our opponent can't just pillage us this turn. I posted it in Off Topic if you guys want to see it. Good night, Tarek. Another Arbor Elf. Okay. That is a lot of mana. We untap. We draw Thoughtseize. I could kill an Arbor Elf, but that leaves my opponent with 5 or 6 mana next turn and 2 cards in hand. I can Thoughtseize to try and take whatever threat they have, which probably is the way to go. I wish I had, like, 2 Fatal Pushes. This might be my only chance to cast Sign in Blood. If they're holding 2 Pillages, we would just be screwed. I think it's gotta be Thoughtseize. If they have like Pillage and Blood Moon, we can fetch a basic off of Bloodstained Mire. Okay, they only have Lightning Bolt. Fantastic. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. I'm not going to auto-yield in case I do actually need to fetch. Opponent attacks us for 2. That's fine. If we can stick Liliana, she's actually going to die. I'd have to kill a Mana Dork first. Opponent plays a tapped Stomping Ground. We untap. We draw a Swamp, which is actually pretty awesome. Play the Swamp. Sign in Blood. We get a Swamp and a Liliana. Pass the turn. When it untaps, they go to combat. They attack us for 2. We take 2 and go to 12. They play a Windswept Heath, so their hand is Lightning Bolt, 1 unknown. We untap. We draw a Swamp. Alright, play a Swamp. Feed the Swarm to kill an Arbor Elf. Actually, I should have used Erebos' Intervention there in case my opponent does have Blood Moon. I have enough basics, it probably doesn't matter. But I think that was actually a mistake. I'm also going to have to play faster because my clock is running out. Opponent cracks Windswept Heath on their upkeep. They get a Forest, so I think they're playing Blood Moon this turn. What you gonna end up playing, Halsey? Opponent attacks us for 1. We take 1 and go to 10. Crack Bloodstained Mire. Get a Swamp. Untap. We draw Swamp. Play a Swamp. Play Liliana the Last Hope. Kill Arbor Elf. Blue-Red Delver with Subtlety instead of Monkey. I'm not going to tell you it's better, but I will tell you it's cooler. Opponent might be bolting Liliana and then like... Oh, they're bolting us, actually. Oh, I didn't tutor. I did not tutor. That is a problem. I should have suspended, but I was thinking I might need to, for some reason, cast Erebos' Intervention on one. I have almost no paper cards, none that are anywhere near new. We untap. We draw Swamp. Uptick Lily. Play a Swamp. Suspend Profane Tutor. Pass the turn. We have to hope our opponent plays a creature without haste, so we can get out of bolt range. Another Utopia Sprawl for our opponent. Probably means we're not dead yet. Porter, quit itching. We untap, Profane Tutor ticking down. We draw Sign in Blood. Oof. I don't know if it's correct to go to 1 or not. I mean, 1 and 3 are probably about the same. Oh, Ren and 6? Yeah. Play Liliana. Uptick Lily. The dachshund screams at the lab. Well, it screams at Porter because he goes out the door first and she thinks she should go first. But even if she gets to go first, she still screams at him when he goes outside. Opponent plays Vorapede? Is anyone seeing this? I haven't seen that card since Standard. Like 12 years ago. We untap. Profane Tutor coming off suspend. Oh, that is something. Yeah, I thought it had haste too. There was just a wall of text, and I was like, oh my gosh. I think we get Cabal Coffers. We draw Archon of Cruelty. That also makes my life easier. Play Cabal Coffers. Play Archon of Cruelty. This way, if their last card's a bolt, we can Erebos' Intervention to gain life. But it has to discard their last card. You had it in the cube? It was not what I expected to see out of my opponent. That much is for certain. I'm gonna let them have the Undying trigger and kill it with Liliana because I need Erebos' Intervention to gain life. So down tick on Vorapede. We will not give it +8/+8. Actually, I should have exiled it with Erebos' Intervention because Liliana the Dark Realms would have made Archon of Cruelty lethal by itself next turn. I think my opponent's conceding. How do we feel about Sprite Dragon over Subtlety in a Delver list? It might be better, because Subtlety is rarely a threat. It's more of a free counterspell. Alright, well we're 3-2. So we got a treasure chest out of the deal. Man. Can't believe that worked. So that league went a little bit longer than I thought it would. 5 play points, a Castle Ardenvale, and a Glacial Fortress. Nothing too exciting. Gonna be you having a crisis for the next month? I don't know. So I think I mentioned it briefly in the Discord, in the off-topic chat. I did post a picture of myself wearing one of the shiny shirts. For anyone who was curious, that is the kind of stuff that I used to wear. I don't wear it because my arms are too big and my chest is too big to fit in the standard size now. The largest size that I could order those in. Which is kind of unfortunate because I really, really liked that style. Oh, it's not like it's a muscle thing. It's not a weight loss thing. I have a little bit of a gut, but that's not what's preventing me from fitting in that shirt. You posted some stuff for Crab in the Discord deck suggestions. Let's take a look. Okay, all right. I think I'm going to have to call this stream a little bit earlier than I wanted. Mainly because I'm going to have to use some of tonight probably to record. Because I'm leaving for driving back to Utah this weekend. And tomorrow I am also very, very busy. Were you using me as an excuse to not do that, Clayton? I'm sorry. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. Because I actually had a lot of fun. And it was great to see everybody. Mav, you included, if you're still here. Deck recap? Yeah, we could talk about it a little bit. Let's see. Mono Black Control V6. Yeah, let's talk about this for a minute. I might actually post... I hope nobody would take offense to this, but I might actually post this VOD as a video on YouTube instead of a regular video slot. Simply because I don't think I'll have enough time to record for each and every day. Mono Black Battle of Wits when? Don't know. I don't know when I could do that. So, Ocean Infinity. I really think Profane Tutor is the Sign in Blood number 6 and 7 that you're looking for. I know Read the Bones has some utility with the scry and the draw, being like Sign in Blood plus, but Profane Tutor does not lose you life, and it gets you the card you need. And if you can get the card you need, you probably don't need just more cards. Occasionally you do, and that's why we'll still run Sign in Blood. But I think Profane Tutor is the effect we're looking for. It felt a little bad playing a single Masterminds acquisition. I really liked 2. Mainly because we played against Mill and a deck that forced us to discard it, or we had to discard it off of Professor Onyx. So I think I would like to fit a second Masterminds acquisition back into the deck. Feed the Swarm is both good and bad. Answering Blood Moon was pretty fantastic. I have actually hit Urza's Saga with it, and that is amazing. So I kind of think it needs to remain in the deck because of the power of Urza's Saga. There's just no way that we can actually answer that card without it. 8 hand hate spells I think is where we should be. I've tried 7. 6 is definitely incorrect. Fatal Push I like a little bit better than the Blood Chief's Thirst we were playing before. Originally, I wanted my spells to be as versatile as possible, but I have to admit that the instant speed on Fatal Push actually matters enough that it has to be run, especially if we're running Feed the Swarm as our other removal spell of choice, it being sorcery. Baleful Mastery, I think, is kind of necessary. For the fact that it's instant speed, hits creatures and planeswalkers and exiles. The 2-mana mode on it feels bad when you have your opponent draw a card, but there's just no getting around it. Liliana of the Dark Realms, we did play as a kill spell one time. I've kind of forgotten that she can be used as a pump spell because I could have used it with Archon of Cruelty to kill my opponent. But we basically had them there anyway, so I'm not sure how much that matters. If you play more creatures, she could matter a lot more. Just ending the game on a single swing, playing her like a 4-mana giant growth that somehow kills your opponent. I like the Damnation in the main. Having the single Damnation in the main is huge. And having the ability to get it off of Profane Tutor. If you Profane Tutor on 2, then you can Damnation on 4. That makes a big difference. Yeah, I think Murderous Rider is not... it's not the Hero's Downfall effect we want. It has utility versus burn and aggression that we didn't see in these matchups. But the life loss off of Swift End is really, really big, at least to me. Especially like if you Thoughtseize on turn 1, you Sign in Blood on turn 2, and you Swift End on turn 3 if your opponent plays like Teferi or something, you're going to be sad. That's true. I did not run into Teferi while we were playing Profane Tutor. So maybe we only play it as like a singleton, maybe we play it as a 2 of, but I think it goes in the Read the Bone slot. I understand that concern though. As far as win conditions go, I really like Archon of Cruelty. I think Archon of Cruelty is here to stay in that spot, at least for a while I play this version of the deck. Damnation really fills the role of Ugin 99 times out of 100, it feels like. Ugin, yeah, has the potential to win the game, and if you alt Ugin, you definitely win, because then you go get like 6 different planeswalkers with different names and put them on the battlefield, and how do you possibly lose from that scenario? But like, yeah, I don't know. Liliana the Last Hope was super good versus the Mana Dork deck, and just the repeatable -X/-1 on creatures was very important. Yeah, I think that's everything. I'm probably going to put more Necromentia in the sideboard. I think you finally convinced me. Yeah, it's better than Sad Sack, but what other deck could you possibly play Sad Sack in? The answer is none. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed both the stream and the content. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry there's not a regular YouTube video in this slot, but it's mono black control, so maybe people will want to watch it. Alright, well, you're all wonderful human beings. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all are great. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye! It's not my birthday!